obvious reasons, this has caught in a lot of ire from folks on the left. It's just not a good time to write a song that's even somewhat controversial, I guess. It's not even somewhat controversial, just like the Jason Aldean song, because you will get attacked as a right-wing extremist. And I don't know why this song is controversial to them. It used to be a bipartisan issue. Republican, Democrat, everything in between. Or on the outsides, you could agree, hey, the folks in D.C. and the corporate elites, like, they don't have our best interests at heart. That was never a controversial take up until, like, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, right? It used to be like, yeah, no duh. Yeah, we disagree on tax policy. We disagree on guns, on weed, on abortion, whatever. But yeah, we can all agree that the folks up in D.C. hate our guts. Or if they don't hate our guts, they're at least not working for us. You know what I mean? That's the thing is, we'll get into this in a second here. This song wasn't actually political at all. But something changed over the last 6 or 7 years, like I said, through media manipulation and the creation of an us versus them, like, tribalistic mindset. The regime convinced close to half of the country that that wasn't the case. Somehow, the people who pull the strings, right, the rich men north of Richmond, the people who pull the strings in this country managed to convince a solid, if not half the country, it was like 40%, a solid percentage of the population that any attack on a DC or corporate elite was also an attack on them. You know, it's like, how dare you criticize politicians and their donors? They're just like me. You know, you need to have respect for our institutions. Leave the CIA alone. Leave Raytheon alone. All they want to do is build bombs so that Joe Biden can ship it over to Ukraine and use it on Russian children. Leave Raytheon alone, okay? If you don't believe, like, I remember when Ricky Gervais gave that speech to open up the Golden Globes, and he absolutely roasted everybody. I remember I saw people, again, 15 years ago, that wasn't controversial. We're all like, hell yeah, show those Hollywood snobs, right? But I saw people that worked at, like, Starbucks and gas stations on social media getting offended on behalf of the celebrities that he roasted. I don't think Tom Hanks needs the guy that flips burgers at Burger King to stick up for him. I think he'll be good, right? Literally, like, don't you dare insult these millionaire celebrities and call them out for being on Epstein's flight log and covering up for Harvey Weinstein. Don't you dare do that. Because that's what we've learned with the left. If you step out of line, they're just going to label you a racist. They're going to label you a far-right extremist. Now, that song didn't mention anything to do with race. Mia, did you hear anything to do with race in there? I know you're a white supremacist, so you look for the dog whistles when they're not there.
I heard a bunch of stuff
about race? Yeah. It was all racial. All racial. That's all he talked about. Because that's what it is. This is what it boils down to. A white guy with a southern accent can't pick up a guitar and sing about issues he has with the current state of the country without being called a racist. Didn't mention race once. The only example I see people using is that he complained about people abusing welfare. Now, again, this goes back to the Jason Aldean song, where I said if you hear a guy say, hey, crime is bad, don't rob liquor stores, don't beat up old ladies, and you immediately assume that's an attack on black people, that makes you the racist. If you hear a guy say, hey, there's too many people abusing welfare while folks that actually need it get, glossed over by the system, and you immediately go, wow, that's a racist criticism of black people. You're the racist because you hear welfare, and the first thing that pops into your mind is black people, when it should be Native American. No, I'm kidding. That's racist. Now, that was a racist remark. That one you can come after me for. That one you can come for me for. No, but that's what it is the hive mind, because that's what they are. They're a collective hive mind. They're incapable of producing an original thought. They don't have it. Independent thought, not their forte. The hive mind told them to attack. They said, hey, this guy is criticizing us, your corporate and political overlords. Go after him. Take him down. He has to pay. I give it a week. Man, this guy, fortunately, because he didn't have any social media. He had no social media. He didn't have a Twitter before that. And I think he created like a Facebook or a TikTok to push this song on, or a YouTube or something. And it blew up. So this guy had no social media. So fortunately for him, they're not going to be able to dig up old jokes that he told and try to paint him as some type of white supremacist. They'll just use this segment to do that. And they'll say that, known white supremacist Mia is defending Anthony or Oliver Anthony on camera, live on That's Based with Caleb Salvatore. Here's the thing, though. The reason the left has taken this song, that, again, we're going to get into in a minute, is not political at all. It's not. It complains about taxes, but it's not actually political. The reason they're taking this song so personally and they're so upset about it is because they're slowly coming to the realization that they have lost middle America. They have lost middle America over the last couple years. The values they promote no longer represent the people they once used to represent. They no longer represent the steam fitters and the plumbers and the electricians and the working class, the middle class, right? They don't represent them anymore, right? And they are very, very upset about that. They cannot stand that. They are not taking it well that they no longer represent the people that were at one point the backbone of the Democratic Party. And you're starting to see the same thing with minorities too. Not as quickly, but you're starting to see the same thing with minority voting blocks too, is the Democratic Party and the left and this Marxist bullshit they've embraced does not represent the average American. They just don't, right? You know, it turns out sex change surgeries for kids wasn't a good selling point for coal miners and electricians. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to click the link in the description to get the full episode on Rumble. If you prefer to listen along, you can actually get us on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. You can also go to www.outlawstreamers.com to learn more about not just my show, but tons of other great shows and all the exciting projects they have coming up. Follow my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, at Caleb Salvatore Comedy on the Chinese Spy app that is TikTok, and be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks, and we'll see you every Saturday for brand new episodes of That's Based. Peace.